We are Stephen and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. Steve and Jill here.
Hello.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWit, broadcasting from the Valley of the Sun.
Today we have Nathan Cheung, current career path member. I've got a ton of questions for him. First and foremost, how are you finding career path, and what led you to the point of making the decision to join us?
Yeah. Well, first, I just want to say thanks for having me on. I've been listening to the podcast for a long time, probably since 2019. And when I first listened to it, I probably started with episode 100 or something and just rolled all the way back. I had a really long commute. So a little surreal to be talking to you in, live. But just wanted to get that out of the way. Yep, that's right. Outside of career path. But, I think I'm the fourth cohort of career path. I was really interested in joining 1, 2, and 3, but I actually work full time. Got 2 young kids. So I think before it was on Wednesdays or Thursdays. So it was going to be hard to explain to my boss what I was doing.
Why are you taking these 4-hour lunch breaks every Wednesday? I don't
know. But as soon as you guys offered it for Saturday, I just jumped all over it. I asked my wife almost sheepishly, hey, there's, Land Academy doing career path on Saturday. And to my surprise, she didn't flinch. She just said, do it, go for it. She watches the kids while I do it. I hide out, they don't even know I'm around. So it's been awesome. Yeah.
Good.
What do you do in real life? What's your W-2 job?
Yeah. So my background, I'm actually a pharmacist. Okay. So no real background in real estate or entrepreneurship, but caught the bug a few years ago. And, long story short, I'm here now. I'm still working full time, but I'm really doing both.
We just interviewed Dan Smart, who is he's a pharmacist with his wife.
Mm-hmm.
It's strange. I don't know if it aired yet. If it didn't, it's going to air next week.
Rainy people travel in our group. That's the whole underlying theme here. And I'm going to say it's definitely because of you. It's not because of me. I don't think I draw in the rainy people. So that's funny.
We have a really good friend. He's from Iowa. He's retired, and he created from the ground up this very successful contracting business that specializes in grain elevators for farming. And he told this joke recently to us, and we were all on the floor about checking out a pharmacist with a couple of packages of bacon and his cholesterol medicine over here. And so I'm sure you've seen it all.
Yeah. Yep.
That's good. So, okay. So 2019 found us. Do you remember when you joined Land Academy?
Yeah. Middle of 2019.
Okay.
And I didn't really know what I was doing yet. Still kind of getting my first couple of deals under my belt. Actually went to the live event, the last one in Hermosa Beach. So that was huge for me. Just kind of hearing what the other members did. I remember specifically, I want to say Matt Rogers, kind of hearing him speak, hearing some of the other advanced members talk, and just thinking, wow, this is possible. It seemed really far away from me at the time, but realizing that was possible, I think that kind of helped catapult me a little bit. It's like each step is like another mental barrier to level up and to level up and to level up. So, yeah.
Somebody told me a really long time ago that if you're a real entrepreneur, all you need to know is what's possible. You don't need to know how to do it. You don't need to know how you're going to bill for it or how the money works or any of that stuff. But if a switch flips in your head, once you know what's possible, that's it. And you start taking action on it. I'm really glad you said that. I forgot about that until now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've been and actually that was a huge, that was a huge reason why I joined Career Path also, because this has been working for me. This is my 3rd full year in land. Last year I did well. In my 2nd full year, I did well, but I also felt like I'm just scratching the surface. I know there's so much more to it, or so much more that could be accomplished. And so I wanted to be a part of Career Path and hear from, you two and the office hours. I love the office hours. I don't know. I know I don't say much, and I don't look like it during office hours, but I'm enjoying it.
Good.
And then also hearing from like the other members here, we got 2 or 3 guys making $1 million or $6 million or whatever it is. So just hearing from them too has been awesome.
Uh-huh. Well, that's what you do. And you successfully thought about it, and you're doing the right thing. You need to put yourself in those rooms, right? Like you are, and you're like listening to them like, well, I could do a deal like that, especially now. I mean, you're really seeing behind the scenes, what goes into it and what's needed. And this is awesome. I want to hear some numbers. Like what, if you don't mind sharing, like first year, second year, and for everyone to hear, because you've told us what you're doing.
Sure. I'll kind of skip the first 6 months. Didn't know what I was doing there. But it was still important because at least in the first 6 months, I learned the whole process, did all my own closing, sales, all of that. And then also learned I don't like doing most of that. But at least I can do it. So I would say in my first full year, I did about $50K in net profit. Second full year did about $150 in net profit. On track for a little bit more this year, but I think that's kind of where I felt like, okay, this is my bottleneck now, which is really just getting a lot of mail out. But my goal is to do about 15 to 20 deals of maybe 40 or 50K in profit. I think that's the next part I'm trying to get to. Last year when I did 150, I did maybe like 15 deals. So nice. I definitely err on the side of doing less deals, but bigger. I'm trying to do less work.
That's what I like.
Yeah. Well, you know this from Career Path. I'm a big fan of making 50 to 80 on a deal and just doing 10 or 20 of them a year. After doing this for how many years, Jill?
Yeah.
I just think that just makes, to make $1 million and just do 10 or 20 deals, that's how it works out really well.
It does. So what's the are you gonna ever leave the other gig? Is that in the cards, or are you just like having this supplemental thing? Like you're I hope you're paying off college educations right now for the little ones or something, putting that aside.
Yeah. That, I guess I just want to know that that's possible, or that I can if I want to. I don't know that I'm really looking to step away just yet. But I think once my first son was born, this is around 2019 when all this started, I think I realized, if I lose my job or something happens to me, like I just have this one income. So I think that really sparked all this, that I needed to have something on the side. And I personally would really like the accomplishment of being able to do both. I have my full-time gig, but then also if I'm able to scale, the land business to something that's more than a full-time, W-2 compensation, that would be awesome.
There's a lot of people listening right now. They're probably like blown away, like, wait a minute. Did he just say he's got this full-time gig and it's a serious gig? It's not like it's not fluff work. You're have little kids and you're doing this on the side and you quietly made 150 and you're going up from there. Like that's huge. What's your secret that you can tell us? Because a lot of people are saying, there's no way I can do that. And you're proof that you can.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is leveraging other services. So kind of working backwards, I sell with a broker because I don't like handling sales. I closed with the title company because I didn't enjoy doing all that paperwork. And then I was only like 70% sure of what I was doing anyway. So as you move into the bigger deals, I felt less comfortable with that. With the phone, I have Pat Live. So it's almost more of like a real company in the sense of just leveraging other ways to be more efficient. And I think the biggest thing that's helping me right now, or that I'm starting to use a lot more, is Concierge. I think that was probably my biggest hang up because I only have so much time. I still like to sleep. I get up, 5 or 6 in the morning before work and do all the kid stuff. but I was kind of reaching a limit of how much mail I could get out the door because I was doing the pricing myself. And so I realized, okay, if I want to get to the next level, I got to get mail out. I need to get mail out. I got to price it, and I need help with that part. So Concierge has been something that I've really emphasized a lot more. So that's probably the next part that I'm kind of leveraging out.
Huge.
I think that's great.
Good.
I mean, you're the perfect
Smart.
customer for it. You've been doing this for 3 years.
You know how to do it.
Concierge Data was, for those of you who know or don't know, is a service that Jill and I concocted because we use it. We've been using it to price and to create our mailers for years. In fact, it's the exact same people. And so we've made it available to Land Academy members who want to kind of outsource their mailer. And so we're working on a very similar service to outsource our transaction coordination staff directly to Land Academy members, so you can get that out of your life too. So, we're trying to make it real hard to make any more excuses about not getting the mail out, not getting deals done, and not succeeding.
Right.
For the right personality.
It's going to be funny. This was the thing. I used to always say that when we got together, one of the things he said was, look, I always want to have a career I can do from the back of a boat. What you didn't say was drunk on the back of a boat, because that's how you're making it. It's going to be like, you don't really even have to do that much, because you just, be sober a couple days, pick the counties, price the counties, and all the rest everybody else will do for you.
So
that's the next goal.
That's right. To be just like us. I don't know, Nathan. Hold on a moment. Aim higher.
Nathan, you've had my favorite bar with you is I might not look like it, but I'm actually really enjoying this. I say that to Jill often.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. It's going to happen tonight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How's your dinner? I might not look like it, but I really like it.
So how do you think this ends? I love that your first child motivated you to do stuff, because that's exactly what happened to me. Exactly. I said, oh, darn, I really got to kick this up a notch. And, the house isn't big enough, and just, there's all kinds of stuff that kicks in when you have that first child. And so, what's, can you see the end of it at all? Like what it looks like?
Financially, I think right now I'm probably just looking at, once I kind of cross that $1 million threshold, I think that's still, I'm not there yet. So working on that. And I always envision myself as the, soccer dad, basketball dad, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of where I want to have the freedom to do that sort of thing with my kids. And I think financially the finances play a big part into the freedom to do that. Don't get me wrong, they drive me crazy sometimes, but I like them the most when they're outside and playing sports or something. So so that's kind of where I see, at least for the next few years anyway.
Yeah. If you keep sticking with your plan, you kind of tripled your money from year 1 to year 2. So if you triple to year 3, you're at year 4, you're there.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think? How do you think, honestly, this year will end?
That's a good question.
This year, we're kind of at about halfway through the year right now. I think the deals that I've done up to this point were still the ones that profited, 15, 20K. But as soon as we started Career Path in late April, early May, I'm just targeting ones that are 40, 50 plus in profit. So since our 5-6 weeks in Career Path, I've sent out probably like 15,000 mailers. So I'm hoping, even out of those 15, let's say it's conservative and I get a deal like 1 out of 3,000, hopefully that's like 4 or 5 deals right there. And with that 40, 50K threshold, I'd be happy with that for the end of the year.
Really push you forward.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Those are amazing numbers. If you just do half that, it was great.
How is your wife so supportive? How amazing is she?
And have you had
great question? Thinking about it sometimes. For those hard times, the kids are not listening. It's like, all right, it's time. Let me schedule the appointment. But well, my wife has been amazing. Both of us are pharmacists. So kind of if you look at the personality trait of pharmacists, very safe, very conservative, not taking a lot of risk, all that sort of thing. But once I kind of caught the bug, she's very supportive of me starting. And I think seeing the growth, now she's the one that anytime I have a doubt, like, hey, should I go with this property or should I join career path? She's the first one, like, just go ahead and do it, because I think she's seen the progress. So it's really helpful. When we first started though, I didn't know how I was going to get on board with, because kind of coming from a non-entrepreneurial background, even just buying a course is kind of a big step for some people. It's like, oh, I got to spend like, and now it's chump change, but back then, it's like a big mental barrier. And so I sat her down and I said, like, hey, can we talk about our goals? And that really sparked her interest, because she, I never talked like that before. I was just like watching Netflix or something. I was like, hey, can we talk about our goals, right? So she said, yeah, let's do it. I told her my goals of financially, time, freedom, all that sort of thing. And I kind of use that to lead me to like the course, right?
Nice.
And then sometimes my friends will ask me now, because I tell them that story, and they say, like, oh, well, what goals did she talk about? I have no idea. I don't remember. I brought all that up. I set all that up just so I could go on this course.
It's funny. I'm so sorry, honey. It's your turn now. Yeah.
To be fair, she doesn't remember either. But,
good. That's cool.
Yeah. But I think just kind of seeing the progress, she's really enjoyed it, and is very supportive of it, because our kids are 2 and 4. So, during career path office hours, she just she'll just take them and get them out of the house and go play or something. So a lot of it I owe to her too, just having someone to support you.
That is huge. You did that right. Like I've talked to people in the past, and that was one of the things I always make sure you got to get your significant other on board, because if they're not on the same page, it's going to make this really difficult. So
back in the early days of Land Academy, Joe would talk to wives once or twice a week. Men wanted to join and women didn't, and not women didn't, but spouses in general. And so Jill was designated spouse discussion.
I kind of was. I'd say, if you want me to, I'll talk to your wife. They're like, really? I'm like, sure, I'm happy to. And if you took me up on it, and I'm like, and then once we talked a little bit, and and then they're like, all right, everybody kind of agrees, like, let's not spend a lot of money here. Test it. Buy some cheap property, sell it, see if you like, even now, see if you like it. It's not for everybody, and then go from there. And you did it exactly how you should. You learned how to close these deals yourself and realize that sucks. I know how to do it. I know what's involved, but I need to up my game because I don't want to do that anymore. And then you learn too, the more you do these bigger deals, it's like flying a plane. The bigger the plane, the easier it is. It's all autopilot. You have title company doing this. You have your broker doing that. You can just sit back and manage them and bring in more deals, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I think the greatest thing about having a career like being a pharmacist is, man, what a safety net. If you, for whatever reason,
that's true.
I always think in terms of safety nets. Even at this point in my career, I'm like, okay, Jill and I have talked about this probably 100 times.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, we have 4 safety nets. If something goes wrong, we're going to go to plan B, plan C, plan D. And if it goes on to plan E, then something's really wrong.
Right.
But being a pharmacist, you
zombies
come back. Yeah. You can can't you go get a pharmacy job tomorrow that would probably pay the bills?
Sure.
Yeah. And I think if I had to, I could be like the drive-through midnight pharmacist or something if I really had to. So yeah, it's nice to have in the back pocket.
Exactly. That's so cool.
I could go back and get an accounting job, but I'm just not sure that, they would hire somebody.
You could be a drive-through midnight accountant.
Yeah.
Here's your tax return. Please pay in cash. We'll see. You don't want that drunk from the back of a boat.
No, you don't want a drunk accountant or a pharmacist.
Yeah.
I bet there is. I bet there's drunk
pharmacists. I bet there are.
Or worse.
Wouldn't surprise me.
That's awesome.
Nathan, do you have any? There's so many people listening to this saying, "Wow, So this guy's got, like Jill said, his plate's really full, but he made it work for himself. Do you have any advice?
I think the first mental barrier is just kind of knowing that there's always a way. So for me, the first thing was, oh man, I need, 5 to 10 hours to work on this. I don't really see where that time is. Oh, I know where the time is. I have to wake up a little earlier. So I just wake up at 5. Never did that in my life. I always slept in and all that stuff, but just start waking up and then just chip away at it. I think one thing is, especially in the beginning, I don't know what it looks like 10 steps down the road. Just kind of have to go one by one by one. And I think my first real progression in terms of deals, this is an oversimplification, but at first I was buying like deals for 1K or 3K, but there was a string where I bought one for 3,000, sold it for 9, bought the next one at 9, sold it for 25, bought one at 25, sold it for 55, bought that one at 55, and then sold it at 105. And that was just like one by, yeah. And I needed those funds because that was like my land fund. So each deal I needed it back, but I was still sending mailers in the interim. So it kind of just fell into place and fell pretty nicely. It doesn't always go, so perfectly. And also each time that was spending, when you're only buying deals for 1 to 3K and then spending it 25, the first time you spend 25, I was like, oh, this is a lot. But then it came back at 50. The next one buying at 50 is like, oh man, this is a lot. Man, I just made all this money, and then I'm going to spend it now at 50. And then onto the 105 one. Part of that was trusting what I knew and trusting the comps and trusting the data. Like, I think that one that I bought for 55 and sold for 105, that was in like the middle of winter. And this is a snow heavy area, but I saw all these comps for also around like 120. And I was like, okay, this is everything I have. What if I just lost everything I did, right? But it was just the next step. Like, okay, just trust the comp, trust the data. I'm going to do it. And then my broker sold it in like 2 weeks. So that was amazing. And so I think it's just a little bit of trust and a little bit of faith, like a step of faith, a little bit one at a time. So
they're happy conversations to have with a spouse who's like, I don't know yet. Those are good checks to look at. Good bank balance.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. This has been so great. So, and any funny things you want to share about the I love career path too. And it's funny, I love office hours too. It is fun because for those who don't know what we do, office hours is before every week we have like professor time or class time, just kind of ask any questions leading up to that day before we start that session, like anything hanging over from last week you want to discuss, you want to look at something, whatever it is. So it's all free flowing and it goes in all these different directions, which I love. And it's nice that we're all do it together because I still believe you get so much more out of that, especially with a small group like this, because someone's going to think of something that you didn't think of. If you were just doing a one-on-one, it's better.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
it's 2 hours of us just freely asking, talking about really anything in real estate, reviewing mailers or whatever.
Yeah.
How do you answer the phone, Jill, kind of thing?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Do you do our Thursday calls too, Nathan? Are you on those?
So I'm not on the Thursday calls, mainly because of work. Those are usually tough for me to get to. But a lot of times I'll listen to them after. Okay. I'll listen to some of them after. So yeah, I think that's always helpful to hear everything in real time. It's not so like mystical, anymore. It's like, oh, this is actually like how everything gets done. And so those are really big for mindset also.
Exactly. Yeah. Hope we can sneak away. I think it's next Tuesday. Oh no, you're not yet. Soon. I'm sorry. I think it's the first Tuesday of the month is our advanced member call. So don't forget. So after you graduate in June, you'll be on the one in July.
And that's one big long.
That's one office hour.
That's like 30 or 40 of us.
Amazing.
Just saying, everything's going great, except I've got this terrible deal right now and I don't know what to do. And we all kind of pitch in and help. Mm-hmm. That's what I love about this career path right now. Everybody's doing deals. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people in the past. It's really hard to have 10 or 15 people in the group, and half are brand new, right? And half are like, where you are, doing it, and really, really
couple years in,
ramping up, yeah,
right.
And so, but everybody seems to be doing deals in this one. It's mm-hmm. fun. Everybody's got real stories to share, mm-hmm. like real time stories to share.
Yeah. I love hearing from, we've got a couple of those millionaires in here. I think the first session when we're just getting to know each other, we're ranking ourselves like, oh, are you like level 1, level 2, level 3? And these guys come in with like, I'm like a level 1 or 1.5. I'm like, what in the world? What am I doing here? I don't think I qualified or something.
Exactly. Yeah. If he's a 1, am I a negative 1?
Yeah, am I a 0?
Yep.
0. I think there's songs written like that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Muppets sing them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I love hearing their experiences. It's been cool, like seeing some of their deals, some of the stuff that they're stuck on. Like, and it helps me know too that 'cause another reason I want to join Career Path was I want to make sure I'm doing this right. I don't know if I was or not. And seeing some of their deals and what they're working on helps me know, okay, I'm on the right path. I can tune this up, but all right, I'm on the right path. So
that's a good thing. Did you have any revelations yet through Career Path? Like, wow, I got to change this right now.
Yeah, I think it's more too many to count in terms of number of little pearls. There are a lot of little tidbits. I can say that Mike has thrown out, that you two have thrown out, that Ike has thrown out. And I don't think any of you even know that you're throwing them out there, but they're just these little tweaks that really help me along the way. So
that's great. I never thought about it that way.
That's good. Cool.
We set Career Path up, really Land Academy entirely, just to be around, and now on Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fastest way to learn something is to hang out with people who are succeeding at it.
Right.
And that's what Career Path is.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
Anthony, it was a blast to talk to you. I would love to, if it's all right, drop in the schedule for like 6 to 8 months from now, and we'll check back in and see how you're doing.
Be perfect. Let's see how this year ended. That'd be really good.
Sounds
He's throwing
great.
some numbers around. I want to know how these numbers end.
Actually, in your case, we'll see who's out of diapers, who's talking,
True.
who's eating stuff.
How much sleep you're getting.
Sounds great.
Cute.
Awesome, man.
Thank
you so much. And we'll see you on Saturday.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thanks again.
Bye. We hope you found our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.